Stephanie Lum, Hawaii News Now. Weeknights. This is Hawaii News Now Sunrise at 5.
The first phase of the cleanup process is getting underway in Kula. What's being done, who's doing the work, and why piles of rubble will be covered in pink adhesive.
New responses to reports of closed roads as people tried desperately to flee Lahaina. What the police chief and mayor had to say.
And Maui tries to find a delicate balance of bringing visitors back to keep local stores in business while also coping with the largest disaster in state history. KHNL explores the complex topic coming up in a live report.
All right, before we get to anything else, though, let's check in with our first alert weather and traffic team. Morning.
Well, you know, so far so good on the traffic, so let's hope it stays that way. Zipper lane up and running, so good to be here in place of Lacey for right now.
Good to have you.
Yeah, and the weather's pretty much status quo. It hasn't changed very much and not expected to change very much anytime soon.
Nice.
That's a good thing. However, it is very dry out there. We could use more rain in those very dry leeward areas. We'll check the drought monitor later this morning. Now, you can see we do have some showers, but they're very spread out. They're very spotty in nature, and they won't amount to very much, and they're not going to get into those very dry leeward sides, and that's actually good news for the recovery over in Lahaina, although there's still some hot spots in the upcountry area that firefighters have to deal with, so hopefully some rain can get into there. And the winds still breezy today. Look at how windy it is over on Kauai already, but as the day progresses from Maui all the way to Kauai, those winds will run pretty firm. So we're going to have another nice day today with lots and lots of sunshine, and the temperatures will run to near 90 for some leeward areas, but we'll have a nice steady trade wind breeze blowing in at about 15 to 20. So today's going to look a lot like yesterday and a lot like tomorrow. Now let's check on traffic. Still quiet, yeah, Jonathan?
It's still quiet, so if you're trying to plan your day, well, this is what it's going to look like for you if you're coming in from different parts of the town. We're going to start on the east right now and show you what it's like if you're in the Hawaii area or along the way. All green on Kalani Anaole Highway as we move into the other parts of the city. You can see it's very nice at the Halima'uma'u Street area, and then pushing further into the greater part of Ainahaina and Kaimuki, still very green along the freeway. And as you get to the merge with the H1, again, nothing too much to tell you about, nothing on HPD's chart right now, but gotta tell you this is what your drive time is going to look like, a mere 20 minutes. You can see from the camera right there, no one's there to accompany you, so drive carefully, a lot of room, but have that malama and aloha for each other. First alert traffic on Sunrise. Grace and Steve, back to you.
All right, thanks, guys. Here's the very latest on the situation in Lahaina. The death toll remains at 115. Between 1,000 and 1,100 people remain unaccounted for this morning.
Governor Green says that 92% of the impact zone has been searched so far. All right, first responders.
They are cute, though.
Yeah. All right. Coming up in our top stories, where will the displaced Maui students go for school? Which campus your child will report to and when? That's coming up next.
And a difficult conversation about bringing back visitors and helping businesses in the aftermath of the fires. Casey is going to tell us what was said last night. He's live. Coming up next.
Ashley Nagaoka, Hawaii News Now. This is Hawaii News Now Sunrise at 6.
President Biden sends more support to Maui days after seeing the devastation firsthand. Which cabinet leaders set to arrive tomorrow and what support he'll be able to offer.
Plus, new details are emerging for West Maui students and families and where they'll head back to class. I'm going to share that with you coming up in a second.
And we have our first alert weather and traffic team. Good morning.
Good morning.
Kind of being eased into this, so it's a good thing that you blessed it with not too bad conditions. So. Yeah. I'm kind of watching, so thank you for the acclamation.
Yeah, well, welcome aboard. Things are looking pretty good weather-wise. We're not expecting any big changes, no severe weather. We could use more rain, yes, but there's no, big storm systems anywhere close. We got to wait for about a week from tomorrow before we might see anything in the way of significant rainfall. Not that it's totally dry. We do have some splashes coming in with the trade and flow, especially wet for East Maui. Otherwise, leeward sides remain dry. And for the recovery area, area out in Lahaina, that will remain dry as well, and that's good. Even though we need more rain in the very dry Kihei upcountry area, we're not going to get it there. Although look at all the rain over on the east side. So that's typical of the weather pattern over the next several days. Morning and overnight showers for those windward areas, not much in the way of rain for leeward sides, and those trade winds will remain breezy at about 15 to 20 today. It's going to be a lovely day today, but heads up, it's going to be very warm and it's going to be very sunny, so load up on the sunblock. Jonathan, you got some stuff to tell us about the traffic. I see lots of caution signs up there.
Yes, so just checked in with HPD to tell you about a few things. So it's kind of all around the island. So let's start away on the commute coming in maybe from the Wahiawa area. There's a report of an accident H2 and Kamehameha Highway expected to be cleared out pretty soon. So be aware of that if you're heading to that intersection right there. Also, as we bring into town here, Nimitz and Sand Island Access Road. There's an accident right over there as you take the exit off of to Sand Island Access. It's supposed to be cleared off pretty shortly too. So we're looking at some good conditions improving right now. And right here in the heart of town, there's an accident on Makiki and He'ulu Street, just for you to be aware of. And one big thing you should be aware of today, the shutdown of the Poly Highway windward bound lanes from Akamu Place to Laimi Road takes effect at 8:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. HECO will continue to work to upgrade utility lines in that area. So just be aware of that again, 8:30 to 3 p.m. windward bound lanes on the Poly Highway will be shut down. That's your first alert traffic on Sunrise. Grace and Steve, back to you.
All right, thank you guys. It's 6:03 right now. Tomorrow, several U.S. Department of Health and Human Services officials will visit Maui, meeting with those that have been impacted by the wildfire.
They'll also meet with local and state officials to determine how they...
Okay, we're not going to see much in the way of severe weather anytime soon. However, there's a chance for a few more windward and Mauka showers. Now, the good thing is that even though we're wrapping up the third month of hurricane season, still very quiet in the Central Pacific. No possible cyclones either. However, we're tracking 2 disturbances likely to develop into cyclones in the East Pacific. We'll track that throughout the morning. And you can see this morning, there are a few showers out there. Really not much rain when you add it all up, but windward sides are picking up a little bit, including windward and Mauka areas here on Oahu. Up and down the Hana Highway is pretty wet. Nice little downpour out near Paia, but you can see upcountry Maui and out towards the Kihei area remain rather dry. And for Lahaina, for the recovery effort, they don't need any rain, even though in the long run, Lahaina definitely needs rain because it's a dry, fire-prone situation still. And those winds are breezy. They're going to get stronger as the day progresses, except for over in Kona, where the winds will remain light, and it's going to be pretty sticky and humid over there in West Hawaii. Now let's see what's going on out on the roads. Jonathan?
And getting a little bit busier at this time of day right now, so I want to show you the traffic cam at Ka'uka Boulevard and H2. You see that traffic flowing into town, pretty busy. So just be aware of that as we make our way into town. I want to show you another camera here. This is as the H1 and H2 merge. Again, that traditional tie-up happening as we speak, so be aware of that. Also, moving on to the Ka'ahumanu overpass, you see the gridlock. That is, at least it's moving, though not too bad at this point. And lastly, bringing you right here into town, the Middle Street Tunnel and the merge with the H1 is kind of backed up a bit as well. So I want to give you that advisory again for today. Remember that the Poly Highway will be closing up at about 8:30 to 3 p.m. and the windward bound lanes will not be open at all. That's your first alert traffic. Back to Steve and Grace.
All right, guys, we just want to say goodbye to one of our favorite people. This is former KJMB receptionist Anita Brady. She died earlier this week. She worked at the station for 47 years.
Yeah, and if you walked into our station on Kapiolani, she was the first person you met because she was right there to greet you. We all love seeing her, and she was always a bright spot when we got into work.
I love that she treated everyone kind of the same. Like they were kind of like, you know, your children, whether you were the GM or the intern, she spoke to you the same way.
Yeah, speaking of which.
Yeah.
Right? No, she had this great way about her. I mean, and the perfect balance, right? Very loving to everybody in the station, but also very capable of being very stern and gruff with anybody who was coming into our station.
That's why I would leave my kids with Auntie.
Yes.
When I come into work, I just leave them over there. I know they were in good hands. They couldn't get out of line because she would keep them in line and give them some love, too.
The perfect person to have right there in the front of our station.
We all love her.
Yeah, love you, Anita. All right, 6:56 right now. The Today Show is next on KHNL. Sunrise continues on KGMB.
You can also catch us on K5. Coming up, a team of people are putting up signs to remember all the Lahaina fire victims. How the organizers say that they will not be forgotten. Howard.
Airlines and their customers face more jet shortages as Sunrise continues on Hawaii News Now.
Closed captioning for Hawaii News Now Sunrise is sponsored by Bedmart. All Hawaii stores are now open. Come see us.